Good morning, everybody. Tess Crawley here, Director of Dr. Tess Crawley and Associates, psychology practice in Hobart and Launceston. I'm touching base with you this morning to follow up quickly on a video I posted last night about co-parenting. So in that video, I talked a little bit about the role of a forensic psychologist in the family court, and I talked a little bit about a resource, a website called Children Beyond Dispute, and I'll put the link to that website in this comment section again today, so you've got access to that again in case you can't find yesterday's video. A note on my videos, by the way, if you're watching these from Facebook, I do also have a YouTube channel, so all the videos are on my YouTube channel. So if you just search for me in YouTube, you'll find that YouTube channel, and they're all stored there. I know it can be hard sometimes to find specific posts when you're scrolling through Facebook. So feel free to have a look at the YouTube channel if there's something there that you're looking for in particular. So there's my little series on anxiety. There's the other co-parenting post, and there's a few others as well that you'll find in there. So following on from yesterday's video, I talked a little bit about communication being the key to co-parenting success. And I came away from that video later realizing there were probably a couple of additional points that I should have made. And the first, and I think most important, is that if you're finding that you can't communicate, no matter what you do, that the other party is not willing to meet you halfway in your communications, I really want you to take away the message that that doesn't mean you're a failure. Obviously, the examples I gave in the video yesterday were based on ideal scenarios where communication between parents is at a premium, and co-parenting arrangements are based then on a really rock-solid platform. Now, obviously, ideal communication between both parties is what we'd hope for, but let's face it, if you had perfect communication, you might still be in the relationship. So obviously it's a big battle to find a middle ground where you can both be happy to meet each other halfway. So like I said yesterday, if you need help in achieving that and getting to that point where you can communicate together, keeping the children in mind. I think what often undermines effective communication is point scoring. And I know that when emotions are high, it is really hard to keep a basis of respect, if you like, in that communication. I find that sometimes parents are focused on what their rights are, so how much time they're entitled to have with their children, and I completely understand that, but I think what sometimes our role as psychologists working within the family law system is sometimes to remind everybody that first and foremost it's the rights of the children that need to be considered first. So even though we start with the premise of respecting the child's right to a relationship with both their parents, we don't automatically assume that that means a 50-50 co-parenting arrangement, because that might not be what's in the best interests of the child at that particular point in the child's life. So if you're thinking about a baby, for example, or if you're thinking about a very small toddler, for example. So, so that's number one. If you haven't got that ideal communication happening with your former partner, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It's very, very common. There are some things that you can do to help by seeking out mediation and things like that. But I think the growth of mediation services, unfortunately, some people see mediation as being, oh, that's the next step before you take me to court. Whereas, of course, mediation is meant to be helping you find the middle ground. That's what mediation, is. It's to help you find a middle ground where you can reach an agreement so that you don't have to go to court, is the ideal scenario there. So mediation is one avenue. Some therapeutic input. Now, yesterday in my video, again, I must confess and apologise for always using the term psychologist. I actually really, because I am a psychologist, I tend to fall into the shorthand of saying psychologist when really I mean mental health professional or counselling professional. So there are a number of counselling and mental health professionals who work around the family law sector with lots of experience and skill in helping you and your former partner find a better way to communicate with each other with the children in mind. So if you can access that help, I encourage you to do so, keeping in mind, of course, that, and I fully understand that you can't make the other party do something they don't want to do. So you could have the best intentions in the world and it still might not work out for you, and that doesn't mean you've failed. So that was the big message I really wanted to impart today. The second big message I wanted to put across too, getting back to this notion of point scoring, is be really honest with yourself about why you're seeking out that communication support and that therapeutic input. Be really honest. Is this something that you want to engage in meaningfully in terms of participating in a therapeutic process with an agreed outcome of better communication with your partner? Or are you engaging in the therapeutic process because you feel it'll look good in court? And that's a really frank and hard conversation to have with yourself. But I think it's one worth having, because I think some people go into the family court process with a range of ideas in their mind about what will look good to the magistrate, forgetting, of course, the magistrate's seen all that before. So it's really important to be honest with yourself about that. Say, okay, well, if I'm going to go into this process of a therapeutic process, why don't I go in boots and all and actually engage meaningfully in that process in the hope that I'll get a better communication outcome? Forget the judge, forget the magistrate. Just concentrate on what the role and the purpose of that therapeutic support is all about. And then, you know, if it ends up looking good to the magistrate, well, so all the better. But that shouldn't be your main motivation, because as I say, you know, magistrates have seen people do many things in the attempt to influence an outcome. So they're pretty wise to all of those sorts of tricks and of the trade. So I say, you know, be honest with yourself, and sometimes that can be a bit of a confronting thing to do. So I do understand that can be hard too. I don't really have anything extra to say today. As I said yesterday, I'm coming down with something, so I'm going to preserve my voice and head off. And yesterday's video was very long, so I'll keep this one brief. For those of you who are going through the family court process, I do wish you all the very best of luck, and you do have my understanding and sympathy. It's a very long and drawn out and tiring process. So best wishes to all of you involved in that. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, whatever you're doing today. Don't forget, if you're liking these videos, to let me know that you're liking them, or send me a comment or ask me a question in the comments section. And you can be notified through editing the notifications if you want to know when I'm live, so you can interact with me live. And in fact, last night's video, we actually had a lovely little chat going on there with a few people who joined me live, which was lovely. If you're watching these via YouTube, of course, you can subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get an email notification when there's a new video link loaded up to YouTube. If you want to know more about us as a practice, have a look at our website, tesscrawley.com.au. And of course, if you're interested to join our team, we're growing. We've got a bit of a growth spurt happening at the moment, and we're looking for psychologists and mental health accredited social workers and paediatric occupational therapists and speech pathologists. So we're looking to develop a little bit of a multidisciplinary team. So if you think you might be interested in joining us, feel free to jump onto our website. There's a Join Our Team page there where you can send me in your application. I'd be very interested to hear from anyone who thinks they might like to join us. That's it for me today. Go and have a good day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. All the best. Bye-bye.